Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Chase, third place at Mexico City last weekend. Obviously, that place is unique, and up there, but we're in the stretch of a lot of unique racetracks coming up here. How can you guys use that as a moment to build momentum for this 9 team as the playoffs near?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was, I thought we had a really solid day overall. I was happy with it, and I thought we had a solid weekend overall too. Didn't qualify as well as I felt like our car balance should have gotten us. I'll shoulder that for sure. But I thought that we were really in a pretty good spot, throughout the day, and for us to get from 12th or 13th or whatever to third on that last run, I thought was a good way to end it, which is always encouraging. And there's still the playoffs, I guess, are kind of nearing, but there's still a lot of racing left before that. So a lot of good tests coming up. I thought we had a really strong run here last year. I'm excited about getting rolling and seeing if we can carry some of the balance and the positive things that we had here a year ago to this weekend. That'd be great. So we're just keep chipping away. I thought we're doing some good things, and just got to do some of the things that we're doing well and add some more to it.
Samuel Stubbs, YardBarker.com. Chase, William, and Kyle, top 2 in the points. They both led a ton of laps this year. They've won some races. You're not very far behind them. But what do you feel like you need to do to, like them, maybe lead more and also get to victory lane and snap that winless streak?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that go into that. It's a little bit of everything, truthfully. But I think probably the biggest one is qualifying. Really, I think the qualifying thing is so important and an area that I've struggled in, no doubt. And so when I look at some of the races, I look at Michigan, right? I thought Michigan was a really good example. We got ourselves up front, and when that happened, I thought we were super competitive, and it was like night and day, from running around 10th to 20th and just in a lot of traffic and starting runs and traffic, and it can really just dictate what your car drives like. So I think being up front, having a really good pit stall, keeping yourself up there, it can change the complexion of your day in such a large way nowadays that it can really be overlooked. So, I think that would be, the really top of mind for me as I look at what's one thing that we can do to help ourselves, and I think that's probably it.
I also would just ask about the season. When you look at what you've done so far, has this been a good season for you?
That's a good question. I mean, good, sure. I mean, it's not where I want to be, no doubt. I mean, I think that for us, there's been some high spots, and to be honest, there's been weeks where we've run well, or maybe had a good finish, or even there's been a couple weeks where we haven't necessarily had a good finish, and I can go home and be like, man, we were in the mix. We had good pace today, and those are the weeks that you want to just feel like you're in the ball game as it pertains to pace and doing the right things and getting up in there and giving yourself a shot. So those days I can go home and have something to be proud of. It's the days and weekends where we're just not even relevant that I think are really the most frustrating to me. And we've had more of those than I want to have and that we want to have as a team. So I think it's been good. It's not satisfactory to myself or to our team, but there's still a lot of racing, left in the season. And fortunately, I think we have ourselves in a position from just being able to make a mediocre day all right. That we can build from it, and we still have ourselves a chance.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic, to your right. Look at the last 10 races of the regular season. 5 of them are on tracks where strategy is kind of important. 3 road courses plus here.
It's important every week.
That's true, but especially in terms of like flipping the stages maybe. which is
Yeah,
around-
not going a lap down. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you look at the 3 road courses, Pocono and then Indianapolis. Those 5 races, when you guys look at your season, are you in the mindset of when you go there, hey, we want to pursue the win? Is it a points thing, or is it kind of a case-by-case basis, just depending on the day? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit case by case, and a lot of it kind of comes back to my speed comments. Like, do you really have a legit shot of winning that day? You know what I mean? Based on just your pace and so on and so forth. So if you're in it's super circumstantial. I think is probably the best way to answer that. And I think the biggest circumstance that is going to dictate what you do in those moments is what kind of pace you have, and what kind of real shot you have to win the race. When you just kind of sit back and look at the day so far, and comparatively to the guys that have had good air and out front. So I'm not sitting there. I have a pretty good idea when that's the case and when that's not the case. But certainly Alan and everybody on the box and on the team are going to have to. They're the ones that are watching that much closer than I'm able to. So we'll see. And I hope that we're fast and we can. I'm down with giving up stage points to give ourselves a shot to win all day long, for sure. But if you're struggling and you're not super fast, then some days those points might be worth the risk to try and get them and put yourself at a deficit for the next stage.
Adam Chopper, Motorsports Today. Chase, a big emphasis of the playoffs in general is about winning, but what's been a talking point this season is your streak of top 20 consecutive finishes to begin the season. So with that dichotomy of winning versus consistency, is there anything, without a win this season, that you could take from how your team's been performing so far to be able to take into the latter half of the season?
I mean, yeah, the consistency, it's good, but this deal really rewards winning. I mean, it does, right? And it's way more important to win, and to get those playoff points and fives than have to wait until the end of the regular season and maybe get 8 or 10, depending upon where you finish in the in the points. So you really need to have. You need to have some wins, and then you need to also finish good in the points, and then be able to kind of double down on that to get yourself in a really good spot. So yeah, the consistency is nice. No question. I think our team has done a really good job of taking some of those days where we're not having a good day and just like really digging in and finding a way just to get something halfway decent, out of it. And sometimes that can be a really hard thing to do, and I'm proud of them for that, because it's it's easy to throw in the towel on those days and just lose it and be done and go try again next week. But I think that we as a whole we just we don't know any better. We just keep trying and keep pushing and make the most of whatever the day has brought us.